What's up guys? In today's video, we're going to be going through the 10 biggest reasons why you're not growing taller as an adult while height maxing. Other than the obvious fact that adults naturally stop growing past a certain age, it is actually possible to grow 1 to 5 inches once our growth plates are fused. Pretty much, in this video, I want to explain certain factors that will actually make you shorter and what you should avoid at all costs. This will even have crossover if you are still growing as a kid and want to maximize your height potential. It's what allowed me to grow over 3 inches tall as an adult. If you haven't seen my videos, check them out. But without further ado, these mistakes will stunt your growth. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 10, we have you work a hard labor job. Now, I understand if you need to make money, that takes priority, of course, but working a job like being a roofer, a construction worker, anything with manual labor will actually stunt your growth around an inch or two. However, you can make the argument that manual labor will make you strong and masculine, so it might be a beneficial trade-off. And also, most of these jobs are in super high demand, so wage maxing is arguably more important than height maxing, but still, I would recommend if you were under the age of 18, just keeping it at a minimum, unless you really enjoy doing hard labor, which most people don't. So hard manual labor, as well as zone 4 and 5 exercise will stunt your growth. So this also includes zone 4 to 5 training. So it's just a very big negative stress on your body when you are in these jobs. Time and time again, you're working for a very angry boss. It's just a negative environment to be in if you want to grow taller. We want to eliminate negative stress response, and certain positions you'll be in while doing these manual labor jobs, like picking up heavy stuff, especially if you are moving heavy equipment around, will actually shrink your body, unfortunately, and compress your body in a negative way, which we don't want. There is such a thing as a positive stress response, which I'll go through sooner in the video. But yeah, that's why it's number 10 on our list. Number 9 is you are drinking too much alcohol. At the end of the day, alcohol is a poison and it prevents our body from receiving the proper nutrients it needs to grow taller. By drinking on a consistent basis, you're also indirectly preventing yourself from getting a good night's sleep and other factors that promote growth. So I would cut out heavy alcohol consumption if I were you. Pretty much, it's pretty self-explanatory. As we were going through our teenage years, we just like to drink alcohol. And just as young adults, it's very popular to drink alcohol. So it's obviously going to be hard to avoid, especially if you want to have a social life. But yeah, I would just recommend keeping it to a minimum, and more so just the amount of days per week that you do drink. I would keep it to even like once per week at most. So even if it's like over once per week, I would say that's too much. Just because it takes a while for your body to recover, and it does impact your kidney function and how your body takes in these nutrients that we need to grow. Going into number 8, it's kind of what I previously mentioned, and that is poor sleep quality. So did you know that actually over 30% of people struggle with some sort of insomnia, and actually over 50% of people have disruptive sleeps? So what this pretty much means is you're not properly optimizing your sleep, and it's going to cause you to have a stunted growth. It's super common, and yeah, that's why I added it onto the list. Things that help combat this is getting into a sleeping position like a pillow between the legs and something that's conducive for growth, as well as potentially getting a firmer mattress or even floor sleeping. A lot of times people have the problem of their mattress being just too soft, so your body will actually sink into the mattress and you'll get stuck in this position where your body's actually holding it, preventing itself from growing because there's nowhere else to go. You're just stuck in this little cage or a coffin that is your bed. So it kind of goes into the goldfish theory. So yeah, definitely I would look into your mattress and look into your sleep quality in general. This is a question most people should answer when they're looking into height maxing for sure, is just how they're sleeping. It's just such a big component of height maxing. Number 7 is you are in a toxic relationship. So this doesn't just have to be your significant other, but it could also be your parents or anyone you surround yourself with. So the best advice I can give you is just leave them if they're feeling like they're giving you a sustained feeling of negative stress. Obviously you could still love them at the end of the day, but if they aren't conducive for your growth, then at the end of the day, you just have to let them go. Now, this doesn't mean like if you are a kid or you are younger, don't just run away from home, obviously, but kind of just disengage yourself from the drama. Don't let them have that emotional takeover that they do over you. Don't let them give you that negative stress. There's certain ways you can combat this. Like there's certain healthy routines you can go into to help you prevent this stress. And yeah, just I would avoid them at all costs. It's more so just about having that negative stress response that we want to avoid. So yes, and it's very common to have toxic relationships. So get rid of these if you can. Number 6 is you are not surrounding yourself with taller people. So just like getting rid of negative people in your life, this is kind of similar to getting more positive people in your life. So I've made a video on this before called Goldfish Theory, and essentially our bodies have this incredible power to adapt in certain environments. And there's been research showing that by changing your environment, you can actually trick your brain into growing taller out of survival mechanism. So honestly, if you don't go outside enough or live in an area with smaller people or older people, this could be honestly the reason why you're shorter. So, if you move to a city, you actually might have a higher potential of growth, as crazy as that seems. Number 5 is you are not drinking enough milk. Believe it or not, drinking milk actually carries a lot of health benefits. There's a massive deficiency of people who lack calcium and vitamin D, as well as a host of other benefits like protein. The biggest thing as a child growing up is not getting proper nutrients in, and even if you're lactose intolerant, I would suggest going for the lactose-free route. So this is something I did a lot as a child. Like I said before, my mom's only 5 feet tall, and yes, I do have a tall dad, but I was obsessed with drinking milk as a kid, and I genuinely think it led to my height growth, at least for a few inches. If you're in a developed country and you have access to good milk, I know I pronounced that weird. Yeah, you definitely should be using this as a viable option to grow taller. It's just easiest way to get your protein in. Yeah, it's the easiest way to get vitamin D and calcium, magnesium, all host of benefits into growing taller. There's a well-known reason for it being the best height growth food out there. Drinking milk is amazing. I recommend trying GOMAD if you aren't lactose intolerant, but if you have trouble processing milk, try your best, is what I would say. Number 4 on the list is lack of sunlight. So going back to number 5, I mentioned the lack of vitamin D is a detriment into maximizing height growth, and this is 100% true. So scientists have actually found a positive correlation between sunlight exposure and height growth. So there is a difference between actually just supplementing with vitamin D through pills or vitamins to actually getting the sunlight exposure naturally. So your body's able to way more easily absorb the vitamin D. And I think there's other nutrients in the sun as well that we can't, see. Maybe it's like phosphorus or something. But it's just funny because it reminds you of how plants grow through photosynthesis, right? But yeah, so height growth is actually directly correlated with sunlight exposure. So that is why it is number 4 on the list. Make sure you go outside and touch grass, as they say, if you want to get a little taller. Number 3 is you're not playing any sports or stretching. Pretty much, you're not getting enough physical activity. You'd think that just lying in a dark room on the floor would be the best for height growth, but actually by exercising, we're creating micro tears in our bones that regrow larger and tougher. This is actually called Wolff's Law. There's multiple videos on this if you want to check them out. Not personally made by me, but I've seen a bunch of videos on Wolff's Law and micro tear method that are very in-depth. So yeah, check it out. But pretty much by playing sports and stretching, it's the whole micro tear method thing. And it's also just surrounding yourself, being outside, which is again, it's the sunlight thing. There's just everything you'll notice on this list kind of goes together and is cohesively orchestrated. So if you do one thing, it'll be easier to follow the other thing on this list. There's this whole idea that, height maxing isn't worth your time and it's hard to do, but the more you do it, the more consistent and better you'll get at it. Number 2 is suppressing your natural growth hormone through eating too much sugar. Sugar has actually been shown to suppress our natural growth hormone in our body, which causes smaller limbs and increases our cortisol. So these short-term dopamine hits will suppress height growth, as HGH is the main hormone that helps us grow taller as we are children. So if you are an adult, you might experience a second puberty actually if you get rid of these processed sugars. So if you're a person who's just eating processed sugar all your life, if you're not diabetic or anything, you don't have any health issues, I would recommend slowly getting rid of them or switching to fruits, non-processed sugars, and I guarantee you will see a positive benefit, not only in your height, but your skin as well. And I'm not saying by cutting out sugar, you're just going to automatically grow. That's not how it works, obviously. Given over a year span, I actually do see a world where you do grow a few centimeters, which is better than nothing, honestly. And our number one reason of why you're stunting your growth is you're simply not eating enough. You're essentially starving yourself every day if you don't eat enough. And you're putting your body in a constant state of deterioration. I highly recommend supplementing with a multivitamin as well. And just eating a balanced diet overall. Track your calories essentially if you feel like you're not getting enough calories in during the day, especially if you are in a developed country. There's no reason why you can't get in over, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 calories a day. Make sure it's not too far over, or else you will get fat. And we don't want that, obviously. But yeah, honestly, if you didn't eat a lot as a child, but you start eating a lot as an adult, again, like number two, you might experience another massive height growth period. If you went through all your younger years without eating, and then all of a sudden your body starts getting all these nutrients, it could actually put your body into a state of regrowth, and like you might have dormant height potential that you can hit. So that's why it is number one on our list. It is just calories in versus calories out. Well, there you have it. Those are the 10 things that stunt your height growth as adults and kids as well. I hope you found this video informative. And if you have any other additional points you want to bring up, let me know down below. And with that, please like the video and thanks for watching.